10 killers whose stories inspired movies and TV shows. Sometimes the most terrifying stories don't begin in the dark. They begin with a smile, with someone who offers to help, with a neighbor who says good morning every day, with a girl who just wanted to be heard. These people lived among us. And when Hollywood made movies about monsters, it told their stories. 10 killers. 10 lives that became legends of horror. And the truth that cinema never fully revealed. 1. Ted Bundy. Film, extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile, 2019. He was handsome, smart, charming. Ted Bundy. Law student, activist, political volunteer. He spoke well, looked perfect, and knew how to captivate. But behind the mask was one of the coldest murderers of the 20th century. From 1974 to 1978, Bundy killed dozens of young women. He would fake a broken arm, ask for help carrying books or bags to his car. Once the victim was inside, the door slammed shut. He was so intelligent that he defended himself in court. His calmness frightened more than any confession. He escaped custody twice, as if playing with the police. In court, he smiled, joked, quoted laws. That made him even more terrifying. A man who looked like an ideal, but was evil incarnate. When sentenced to death, he simply said, "Take care of yourself. There are many more like me." 2. Jeffrey Dahmer. Series, Monster, The Jeffrey Dahmer Story, 2022. He lived in an apartment in Milwaukee. Worked, drank beer, chatted with neighbors. An ordinary guy, a little strange but harmless. No one knew that behind that door was pure horror. Dahmer lured young men under the pretext of taking photos. He spoke softly, never threatened. He just asked them to come in. Police visited his home several times and left without searching. When he was finally arrested, investigators couldn't believe what they saw. In court, Dahmer was calm. He didn't justify or repent. When asked why, he said, "I just wanted someone to stay with me forever." His story is not only about cruelty, it's about indifference, about how the system can fail to see a monster if he's quiet and polite. 3. Ed Gein. Films, Psycho, 1960, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. He lived in rural Wisconsin. A farm, silence, an old house. After his mother's death, he lost his mind. Ed Gein inspired 3 of cinema's most iconic killers: Norman Bates, Leatherface, and Buffalo Bill. He wasn't a typical serial killer, but what they found in his house changed the way police understood the human mind forever. Gein became a symbol of loneliness, madness, and religious obsession. Movies turned him into a monster, but in real life, he was just a man who slowly lost touch with reality. 4. Aileen Wuornos. Film, Monster, 2003. They called her America's first female serial killer. But behind that headline was a life of pain and survival. Aileen was born into poverty in a criminal family. At 14, she was living on the streets, hungry, beaten, desperate. She searched for love, but found only danger. When she met Tyria, she thought life had meaning again. But money and fear kept pulling her back to the highway. She killed men, she said, in self-defense. The film Monster doesn't show a beast. It shows a woman society stopped seeing as human. Charlize Theron's performance made audiences cry and tremble at once. Before her execution, Wuornos said, "The world made me this monster. I just stopped pretending." 5. John Wayne Gacy. Film, Gacy, 2003. Series, The John Wayne Gacy Tapes, 2022. By day, he was a friendly neighbor, builder, community volunteer. On weekends, a clown at children's parties. People knew him, liked him, trusted him. Beneath his house, police found the bodies of 33 young men. He lived a double life. One side, smiles, barbecues, and charity work. The other, a basement that became a symbol of horror. During interrogations, he was polite, almost friendly. He said, "I'm not a monster. I just lost control sometimes." But the police knew he lost control too often. Gacy proved that monsters can wear cheerful masks. 6. Richard Ramirez, The Night Stalker. Series, Night Stalker. The Hunt for a Serial Killer, 2021. 1985, California. The city doesn't sleep. Every night, someone breaks into homes, leaving only terror behind. They called him the Night Stalker. He didn't choose victims. He chose the night. Headlines screamed. People locked their windows, slept with guns. An entire state lived in fear. He was caught because of a single shoe print, an ordinary footprint on a floor. When arrested, he smiled at the camera and said, "See you in hell." The series shows detectives chasing him for weeks, without sleep, without rest, trying to catch the man who had become the very shadow of the night. 7. Edmund Kemper. Series, Mindhunter, 2017. Polite, educated, articulate, 6'9", soft voice, steel eyes. When arrested, he calmly confessed to everything. He turned himself in. Kemper became the first subject studied by the FBI to create serial killer profiles. He discussed his crimes like a professor giving a lecture. "I didn't hate people," he said. "I just wanted to understand why no one understood me." Scenes in Mindhunter are word for word from real interrogations. Kemper was too intelligent, too rational, and that made him even more terrifying. 8. David Berkowitz, Son of Sam. Film, Summer of Sam, 1999. New York, summer of 1977. Heat, tension, fear. Every night, gunshots. Berkowitz targeted couples sitting in cars. He wrote letters to police, signing as Son of Sam. The city went insane. People stopped going out. Newspapers battled for headlines. When caught, he said he received orders from a demon. Psychiatrists later said it was loneliness, resentment, and delusion. Spike Lee's film captures not the killer, but the fear. How one man can paralyze an entire city. 9. Gary Ridgway, The Green River Killer. Film, Green River Killer. The True Story, 2005. Un ordinary man. Job, family, church on Sundays. And the darkness that lived inside him. He chose women's society, didn't notice. Dozens disappeared. Years of investigation. When arrested, he didn't resist. He confessed calmly, emotionless. "I just did what I was good at. I cleaned up the world." Detectives later said, "It was the first time we saw a man with no soul, only emptiness." 10. Dennis Rader, BTK. Series, BTK, Confession of a Serial Killer, 2022. BTK, 3 letters that terrified America. Bind, torture, kill. He gave himself that name. Rader lived in a Kansas suburb, a safety inspector, church leader, model father. He wrote letters to police, taunted detectives, sent clues. He wanted fame. They caught him because of a floppy disk he mailed to a newspaper, traced back to his church computer. When arrested, he confessed to everything, calmly, coldly, as if describing his job. "I'm proud of my system," he said. "I was the best." Movies about monsters frighten us on screen, but real monsters don't hide in shadows. They live next door. They smile. They offer to carry your bag. These 10 stories aren't just crime chronicles. They're a mirror. Each one shows how thin the line is between humanity and the abyss. So next time you see the words, "Based on a true story," remember, reality is always scarier.